Up into a full-blown war. In fact, it's already happening, and no one but a few journalists are actually covering this bombshell story. I'm surprised the mainstream media is totally ignoring this story. The rest of the media is distracted by P. Diddy's homes being raided.
And we are learning more about the sex trafficking raids on mansions belonging to Sean Diddy Combs.
Something, though, much bigger happened this week in the Red Sea that almost got no attention at all. Russia and NATO are going to war. In fact, it's already underway, and it's not happening in Ukraine specifically. So we'll get to that in a second. But first, at the precise moment a cyber attack was being carried out on a bridge in Baltimore, shutting down one of America's most important port cities, Russia announced that the United States and the UK were actively involved in the terror attack on a Moscow theater. Say what? Really? You mean to tell me the CIA funneled millions of dollars in cryptocurrency into Ukraine to fund this operation? Get out of here. Really? You mean the same CIA that assassinated President Kennedy and had Richard Nixon overthrown would do something this nefarious? I can't believe it for a second. Oh, wait, yes, I can. Yes, I do.
We spoke to someone who had access to these still hidden CIA documents, a person who was deeply familiar with what they contain. We asked this person directly, did the CIA have a hand in the murder of John F. Kennedy, an American president? And here's the reply we received verbatim. Quote, the answer is yes. This is someone with direct knowledge of the information that once again is being withheld from the American public. And the answer we received was unequivocal. Yes, the CIA was involved in the assassination of the president.
Colonel McGregor, former Pentagon advisor to the Secretary of Defense, told me this week that the CIA was 100% behind the attack in Moscow. CIA and MI6 are actively involved in this terror plot inside of Moscow. What is the goal for the intelligence community in Washington, do you think?
Well, the CIA has been a rogue organization for a long time. Some people say it went rogue in the 60s. The Russian people are infuriated. They're angry. They want blood. The emotions in Russia are running very, very high.
So Russian investigators said Thursday, quote, investigators have verified information that large amounts of money in cryptocurrency that the perpetrators of the terrorist attack received traced back to Ukraine. The funds were used in preparing the crime. This was done with the help of the United States and the UK. So the US and the UK helped carry out a massive terror attack in Moscow that killed 140 people. And almost simultaneously, a massive cargo ship carrying hundreds of thousands of pounds of hazardous chemicals slams into a Baltimore bridge, closing down the port for months, if not years to come. Some estimates have 5 years. And we learned yesterday that the Pentagon has a number of important fast response ships that are now stuck in the harbor. They can't move. And we need these in case of wars. I love a good coincidence. The NTSB confirmed that they recovered the black box, and 2 minutes of vital information was missing.
At 0124 and 59 seconds, numerous audible alarms were recorded on the ship's bridge audio. About the same time, VDR sensor data ceased recording.
Yeah, only the 2 minutes that we need. Gone, never recorded. Journalist Laura Logan says her sources in the Biden intel agencies have confirmed this was a cyber terror attack.
Why are you coming to the mic telling the country that it's not terrorism when your own intelligence agencies are telling you it is? And I know they are, because I didn't make this up. These are not my words, right? I'm talking to people who are on the inside, some who are on active duty, some who are retired, and everyone, literally from critical infrastructure in Department of Homeland Security to the intelligence agencies, they know there's no other, this is a cyber attack on a critical infrastructure corridor for the United States.
Yes, all of this is happening right now. But of course, the mainstream media is ignoring it. The Today Show is running segments about spring cleaning your house.
We're back 8:13 with today's spring cleanup.
Yes, shit is hitting the fan, and they can't hide it anymore. We are at war, and nowhere is that more apparent, of course, than the Red Sea, between Russia and France. Russia threatening France that if you send troops to Ukraine as you're planning to do, this will bring death and destruction to France. Their words, not mine. So this week, Russia sent a number of massive warships into the Red Sea for the first time. This was in direct response to France. If you want to watch, by the way, how a desperate, failing country drags the rest of us into World War III, look no further than France. President Macron, over the past few weeks, has grown desperate to save France, threatening Russia. Why is he doing this? What's going on here? Well, let's look at Africa and a story that no one is covering. France once owned Africa for generations. France controlled and exploited the vast natural resources of African countries. France is only able to exist as a modern superpower if they're able to plunder uranium, lithium, gold, silver, tin, and all sorts of precious minerals from Africa. If they can't plunder it, then they are finished. More than any other country in the world, France depends on uranium to power their nuclear power plants. Almost 70% of their power comes from nuclear. And all of their uranium is plundered from Niger in Africa. A few years ago, the cracks started to emerge. Coups across former French colonies broke out, most recently Niger, Congo, and more, saying we're done with France and the puppet governments that you've installed in our countries that rape our country and send cheap minerals to France. Get out of our countries. Let us keep our own minerals.
What people want is to gain back their wealth, back their uranium, their gold, their iron, their phosphate, their oil, their gas. And this scares the West.
You see, all of these resources sit in a very important zone here in Africa, the Sahel region.
Between the vast Sahara Desert and the dense foliage of the African rainforest is a band of semi-arid grassland. Known as the Sahel, the landscape is one of Africa's most productive crop regions.
Last year, these countries said, we need military help in order to stop the French from plundering our uranium. They hired the Russian mercenary group known as the Wagner Group, formerly under the leadership of General Prigozhin. Prigozhin, of course, is now dead. Now, Putin has rolled these Wagner forces into the Russian regular army. They are now Russian forces, and thousands of them are in Africa, in direct opposition to the thousands of French forces that are in the Sahel. France says, we're not here to plunder resources, we're here simply to stop terrorists. Stop terrorists, sure. Niger says, no, you're not. You're here to plunder our resources and install a puppet government. And the people you call terrorists are the ones opposing your illegal occupation of our country. 6 coups in 3 years. Sudan, Chad, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Niger, all to throw off the shackles of French neocolonialism. This region is on fire right now, and France has everything to lose. That's why they are so desperate. That's why Macron is threatening Russia so vehemently right now over the past few weeks, threatening to put French forces in Ukraine. If he does this, Putin has vowed death and destruction to France. France is getting so desperate to survive, they're dragging all of us into a world war. By the way, do you think that this is just going to end with a Baltimore Bridge cyber attack? No, it's not. This is a shot across the bow to the United States. You just helped launch a terrorist attack in Moscow. This is going to descend into... This is about to blow up into a full-blown war. In fact, it's already happening, and no one but a few journalists are actually